The Redskins are a solid fixture in the city of Washington, and in recent years, they have adopted a conservative nature, appropriate for a team representing the nation's capital. Unfortunately, the Redskins' predictability left them one step behind the rest of the NFL, a situation owner Jack Kent Cooke and general manager Bobby Beathard hoped to change by hiring Joe Gibbs as the new head coach. As offensive coordinator for the Chargers, Gibbs helped construct the most powerful offense in NFL history, and his aggressive philosophy created excitement throughout the Redskins organization.
Every team you play for, no matter who the head coach is, that team will take on the personality of the head coach. If it's a defensive-oriented individual, it will be a defensive-oriented football team. If it's offensive, it'll be offensive. For the past 7 years here, under Coach Allen and Coach Pardee, they're basically defensive mentors. Now, finally, I've got an offensive coach who, like I say, thinks like I do, and I'm really looking forward to it.
But Theismann and the Redskins' anticipation quickly faded as Washington lost their first 5 games, posting the worst record in professional football. However, in time, Gibbs and his aggressive philosophy prevailed. Despite their bleak beginning, Washington went on to win 8 of their last 11 games and stayed in playoff contention until the final week. In 1981, the Redskins masterfully rewrote a story that began as a tragedy, but ended as a glorious tale of 2 seasons. From day one, Coach Gibbs was well aware of the basic law of survival in the NFL.
Your successes in this league are marked in wins, and I think we're going to have to win to be successful. And I would be kidding anybody if I said any differently. So I think at the end of the season, it'll be the time that we judge, how well we've done this year and what kind of coaching job we did. But I've got everything I think it takes. If I screw this up, it's going to be me doing it.
The Redskins did have their difficulties, but it certainly wasn't just Joe Gibbs' fault. Four of Washington's first 5 losses were to playoff teams, and injury sidelined many key performers. However, it was the inconsistency of the Redskins' new-look offense that proved most frustrating.
There are so many things that can go wrong on offense, and for us, they did. We had interceptions, we had fumbles, we had penalties in key situations. Every time we did one thing right, we did 10 things wrong. What we had to do as a football team is we had to simply stop beating ourselves. There never was a feeling of giving up. That's one thing you have to give credit to Joe Gibbs for. Through the entire dismal start of our football team, Coach Gibbs never, ever wavered. He never changed his approach. He never changed his practice schedule. He never changed his philosophy. He just said that we're a better football team. We've got to eliminate mistakes. We've got to do the things that we're capable of doing. If we just went out and did the things we could do, we'll win our share of football games. We're that good.
With a new coach, an exciting offense, and talented personnel, the Redskins were better than good. Despite a winless record after 5 weeks of the 1981 season, Washington was the #1 ranked offensive team in the NFC. The passing attack could score from anywhere, and did. The offense utilized backs out of the backfield, tight ends over the middle, and fleet wide receivers down the sidelines. Finally, in Week 6 against the Bears in Soldier Field, the offense and defense put together a winning effort, and Washington recorded its first victory of the season. The 24-7 win lifted Washington over one hurdle. The next obstacle was a much-needed first win at home. Against New England on a rainy Sunday afternoon, the Redskins passed and ran their way back into the hearts of their hometown fans.
Redskins faking it. Are they going after it? Yes. The man was in there but didn't get it. Helms will take the ball at the 25, gets away from a man, tries to cut back. He's at the 30, at the 35, to the 40. He's going. He's at the midfield stripe. He's at the 40. He's gone. Kissing goodbye.
Joe Gibbs said he needed a big play from his return team, the special teams, and he got it right there.
Leading the Patriots 17-15 in the third quarter, quarterback Joe Theismann turned a broken play into a touchdown to help clinch a 24-22 win. Such miscues had haunted the Redskins through their first 5 games. Now it seemed a reversal of Murphy's Law had taken place. Everything that could go right did go right. Coach Gibbs had remodeled a conservative team into one that was exciting and enthusiastic, convincing Jack Kent Cooke and Bobby Beathard that he was one Californian that had come to the nation's capital intent on fulfilling his campaign promises. Fan approval of the new-look Redskins was aided by the return of John Riggins, who, after sitting out last season, was welcomed back with open arms. 1981 also marked the arrival of Joe Washington, who fit snugly into the Redskins' offensive scheme. Unhappy about his limited playing time in Baltimore, Joe was made a starter in Washington, an opportunity he was determined to hold on to. Darting around the field like a frightened rabbit, Washington ran for nearly 1,000 yards and led the Redskins with 70 receptions on his way to being named Washington's most valuable player. Washington's quickness and evasiveness blended perfectly with the bullish manner in which fullback John Riggins advanced the football. At 6'2", 230 pounds, Riggins would just as soon run over a defender as look at him. Number 44 seemed to thrive on the one-on-one confrontation between runner and tackler. And in 1981, he either carried or ran through tacklers for over 700 yards to become the NFL's 8th all-time leading rusher. Both Riggins and Washington's performances were enhanced by a young and talented offensive line featuring center Jeff Bostic, guards Russ Grimm, Melvin Jones, and Ron Saul, and tackles George Stock, Joe Jacoby, and Mark May. These men also provided the ground clearance for the Redskins' high-flying offense piloted by quarterback Joe Theismann.
I saw the seam.
Well,
so I
see,
started coming back.
I threw it that way. I didn't want to lead you because you might have
No,
gone.
that's good. But I saw the
I
seam.
figured you had,
I started
yeah.
coming back.
I know.
And when I came back, I had to move real quick, and I lost the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if I wouldn't have fell down, I'd have walked in.
I thought so. Yeah, that's okay.
In 1981, Theismann dusted off his goggles, checked his flight maps, and traveled the airways of the NFL more times for more yardage than in any of his previous 8 seasons. Theismann employed the services of all his receivers, including running backs Clarence Harmon, number 38, and Wilbur Jackson, number 40, both talented performers who unfortunately missed much of the season sidelined with injuries. New arrival Terry Metcalf, number 26, remained injury-free and finished third among Redskin receivers with 48 catches. A big surprise at wide receiver was free agent Virgil C., number 80. C led all receivers by averaging over 18 yards per catch while scoring 3 touchdowns. Number 81, Art Monk, surprised no one, recording another excellent season, and his potential appears limitless.
Art Monk's talents have yet to be even scratched. He's faster than most people. He's bigger than almost any wide receiver in the National Football League. He has exceptional concentration powers in traffic. And I always say to him, if I get a one-on-one situation, Art, I'm going to put the ball up, you go get it. And 9 out of 10 times he will come down with it. He's our key receiver, there's no question about it. He's the man who we go to when we have to have something. He likes pressure. He handles pressure exceptionally well. He loves to beat people one-on-one. He's got an inward drive that you don't see in a lot of young men.
In 1981, Monk caught 56 passes for nearly 900 yards, recording the most yardage gained by a Redskin wide receiver in 15 years. In Week 10 of the Redskins' Tale of Two Seasons, Washington concluded a crucial chapter against the Detroit Lions. The brutal contest saw more knockdowns than a heavyweight bout between a couple of barroom brawlers. After 3 quarters of this toe-to-toe slugfest, the punch-drunk Lions seemed ready to fall, and running back Joe Washington delivered what appeared to be the final crushing blow.
A wing to the far side, Walker in motion now to the near side. On first down, Joe Washington to carry. Got blockers inside the 10, the 5, still on his feet to the 2, leans to the 1, did he make it? Touchdown, Joe Washington! Oh my goodness, what a run! Holy moly! That little devil pushed 3 people into the end zone. He is a little devil, isn't he? he is beautiful.
Surprisingly, Detroit picked themselves up off the canvas and took the lead with less than a minute remaining. However, the Redskins had one more knockout punch left.
Mosley to attempt from the 34. It will be a 44-yard kick. The spot will be the right hash mark, the far side hash mark. Theismann says he's ready. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. It's long enough. It's good! Mosley from 44 yards with 43 seconds left, and they swarm in on the middle of the field. The Redskins jumping. Wow, this has been a barn burner, hasn't it?
Well, that's a great kick by Mosley under pressure, and he made it.
Oh, he kicked it like it was nothing, right down the middle. It was high and long.
One week later, with hearts still pounding, the Redskins again toyed with the emotions and pacemakers of their fans in a game against the playoff-bound Giants. Washington led 24-20 until a late fourth quarter Giant touchdown put New York ahead, and it appeared the Redskins' 3-game winning streak was over. But in the rain and gusting winds, with no time on the clock, Mark Mosley kicked a 49-yard field goal to send the game into sudden death. The kick was Mosley's longest of the season, and just 3 minutes into overtime, he provided Washington with their 4th straight victory and left the already speechless Giant fans in a state of shock with a game-winning kick.
Kick is up. Will it be long enough? Yes. Will it go through? Yes! The football game is over.
It's all over.
At the 11:16 mark in overtime, Mosley from 49 yards out, and the Redskins bench empties onto the field. Joe Theismann jumped into Mosley's arms, a la Yogi Berra with Don Larson.
There goes your giant jinx.
It certainly does, and I think the Redskins proved a lot today in winning this one in overtime.
In Washington's second season comeback, the offense and special teams wrote all the headlines. But it was the Redskin defense that went out and hand-delivered the news. The defense made Redskin leads stand up by simply knocking opponents to the ground. Rookie Dexter Manley, number 72, led a fierce Washington pass rush. Manley's 6 quarterback sacks were second only to team leader Perry Brooks, number 69. Number 65, Dave Butts, anchored the defensive line, having the best season of his 9-year career. Behind the line stood a hard-hitting group of linebackers starring number 52, Neil Olkowitz, Monty Coleman, and Brad Dusek, number 59. These men protected their end zone as if being scored upon was an invasion of their personal property. While the line and linebackers squeezed opposing offenses by the throat, Redskin defensive backs were poised and ready to grab anything that was choked up. Free safety Mark Murphy, number 29, led all defenders in tackles, fumble recoveries, and interceptions. His 7 thefts were 3 more than second-place finisher Joe Lavender, number 20. In 1981, the Redskins held opponents to under a 50% completion rate for the 6th consecutive season and intercepted an impressive total of 24 passes, including one by reserve safety Mike Nelms. But Nelms did not make his living as a defensive back. Number 21 earned his paycheck as professional football's premier kick returner. Nelms seemed to be in a class by himself as he led the NFL in average yards per kickoff return and established 3 new club records. Number 21 was selected to both the All-Pro and Pro Bowl squads and helped maintain the high level of excellence that has become a trademark of the Redskins special teams. In Week 14, the Redskins had to first sweep away bitter memories of an early season loss to Philadelphia before beginning the final chapter in their tale of 2 seasons. Head coach Dick Vermeil and the Eagles were fighting to win a division championship, while the Washington Redskins were desperately trying to stay alive for a wild card berth. Unfortunately, after 2 Eagle touchdowns, Washington's heartbeat slowed down and nearly stopped. Trailing 13-6 at the half, the Redskins seemed enveloped in an old but too familiar cloud of uncertainty. However, the 1981 Redskins had become a team composed and determined. And in the final 2 quarters, Washington defeated the Eagles at their own game, defense. The Redskins shut out Philadelphia in the second half, an accomplishment aided by 2 interceptions, the most crucial occurring early in the fourth quarter. Monty Coleman's 52-yard interception return clinched an important Washington victory, for the win signified not only the comeback of a single game, but of an entire season. After Philadelphia, the Redskins easily defeated Baltimore and Los Angeles and won 8 of their last 11 games, nearly earning a wild card spot in the playoffs. It was certainly an incredible ending to a memorable season. So went the story of the 1981 Washington Redskins. They were a team that soared to new heights on the wings of a new coach and a new philosophy. They were a team that in defeat never lost their poise and won as much with emotion as they did with talent. But most important of all, the 1981 Washington Redskins wrote a happy ending to their tale of 2 seasons.